everybody, welcome back to another episode of 5-Minute Gaming News, the show that will never be as good as Elon Musk getting booed at the Valorant World Championships.
Apex to try and close. Where's that from? That can't be from in here, surely.
Today in the news, how on earth did anyone see this coming? Dragon Age 4 Dreadwolf probably getting delayed. According to Giant Bomb's Jeff Grubb, after the most recent round of layoffs at BioWare, he said the game's target release window moved to March 2024 a while ago, but it's currently planned to come out next summer at the earliest. He thinks it's very likely that the game's release window will be pushed back even further, probably to late next year, but possibly to early 2025. And to be clear, just in case I wasn't last week when we talked about this, these layoffs make no damn sense. Turns out Lucas Christensen, one of the oldest writers for BioWare, Joker's original writer, Minsk, Sarah, etc., one of the longest serving employees, was one of those laid off, including all the other writers and people we mentioned last time. Like Mary Kirby, the writer for Varric, one of the most beloved characters in the entire franchise. Like, what could possibly be EA's reason for dropping senior talent like this? It wasn't like they were underperforming. To lay off that many people with that much senior talent seems crazy to me. It makes no sense to give up all of that work and effort that they put into the company, the goodwill they have for the brand that they're writing for, unless they're going in a different direction. But it seems weird because I'm going to say I doubt that the writers were the reason why BioWare games haven't been that successful as of late. What we do know for sure is that now they're pulling people from the Mass Effect team to work on the Dragon Age team, thus pushing back Mass Effect even more, which will be a whole other thing, all to make sure Dragon Age 4 comes out good. Will it? At this point, I have no clue. All the signs point to trouble, but fingers crossed it's good. But I guess we'll all find out together. Meanwhile, in the universe of closer releases, the hype for Starfield's at Warp Factor 9, but we are suffering from an orbital bombardment. Boy, this is a metaphor. We are suffering from an orbital bombardment of leaks that are hitting us at a heavy pace. So turns out copies of the game are out in the wild, and we are getting screenshots and clips and all sorts of posts on the internet with leaks that are causing quite a stir. The internet has many thoughts on what we've seen so far, and of course, it's got people debating all the promises Todd Howard and team made about Starfield was and what the game will be. According to Kotaku, it all began with an apparent leak on a Chinese forum that suggested Starfield will cut players off if they try to explore too far in any direction after landing on a new planet. A screenshot showed a pop-up message telling the player, "Boundary reached, open the map to explore another region or return to your ship." Another seeming leak was posted on YouTube before it was removed following a copyright strike from Bethesda. It showed a 10-minute time lapse of a player walking through a desert until they eventually hit a similar boundary break. All of which set off player fears that the 10,000 planets thing was just Todd Howard hype and not actually a real massive exploration of the universe. This only made worse by the fact that Bethesda's Pete Hines last week was like, hey, limitless exploration. You can explore all over the planets. It's seamless. It's amazing. Even though before we had seen that there would be multiple landing points on planets, and there would be, if you want to go to one point or another, you would have to get back up in your ship and move. Like, we've known that for a while. But again, to say exploration is limitless is a big statement, and it leaves a lot of room for people to come in and be like, but you said, and then look at this screenshot, but you said. However, others online have stepped up to the game's defense. This is actually not entirely accurate, tweeted Windows Central co-managing editor Jez Corden, who is currently playing through the game in response to the invisible wall discourse. Can't say more than that, really. Wait for the review embargo to lift. Forbes contributor Paul Tassi cautioned players with a similarly vague response. Nobody knows what they're talking about, he tweeted. Others have pointed out that the time lapse of 10 minutes is a time lapse and it takes like 40 minutes or so to reach the border of a map. And if you start at the middle of, say, Fallout 4, it takes 35 minutes. So really, these are much, much bigger. But here's the problem. Bethesda has an uphill battle with this one, because no matter what the defenders of the game say or what they show, the schadenfreude of the internet of wanting to see Todd Howard and team fail at another release after Fallout 76 is very high. People like the idea of it not being successful. Why? I don't know. People just be like that. I want it to be great. I want this game to be amazing. But to say there isn't a sizable portion of the internet that's like, I can't wait till it fails, would be a lie. It exists. Again, I don't know if it's because 76 was a stinker on launch, or if it's because they released a bajillion versions of Skyrim to the point where it became a meme unto itself. I don't know what caused the flip, but it is high. And it's one of those things where even I'm a little concerned. Maybe it's because of all of that, or because of my experience with launches of Bethesda games, even though they say this is one of the most bug-free ones. Either way, I feel like I'm going to wait maybe a month or two to even take a look at the game. I'm sure everyone and their brother's going to be playing it, but I guess I'll find out the truth from everyone who's given it a shot. And that's good enough for me. Because let's be real, at the end of the day, there's no way it's going to live up to the hype train that this game has caused for years and years with Bethesda fans. But it also isn't going to suck as bad as people say it will. So it'll be somewhere in the middle, and we'll just see what it actually is, because the release date is very soon. Speaking of new releases, tomorrow, the throwback 1990s retro game that your nerdy friends won't shut up about, Sea of Stars, releases on all the platforms. In this beautifully made Chrono Trigger-inspired RPG, you play as a plucky band of adventurers making their way through a magical world, fending off evil, saving the day, you know, RPG. And if you're as excited for this one as I am, and I am very excited, this could be the game that pulls me away from Baldur's Gate, I'm telling you. It looks beautiful, the music sounds awesome, the gameplay looks exactly like I want it to look. And if the reviews are anything to go by, this seems like a winner from start to finish. Plus, it has a launch day Game Pass and PlayStation Plus release, so it should be pretty easily accessible for those of you who are curious about why I'm excited. Also, on the exact same day, the narrative dinosaur high school world-ending emotional adventure, yep, you heard that right, Goodbye Volcano High releases. You play as Fang, just a young dino trying to make their way in the world, a world that is crumbling around them. Make choices, help friends, and question life, man. It's 100% gonna give you that existential drama you crave and should tap right into that Night in the Woods, Oxenfree 2 vibe that you love. Definitely worth a check out. And then, the game that needs no introduction because we've been talking about it, but here we are anyway. On Friday the 1st, or depending where you live, on the 31st, Thursday, early access begins for Starfield, ahead of its launch next week. The first new Bethesda franchise in over 25 years, explore a massive galaxy, create a unique character, and live the life you've always wanted to among the stars. You will 100% see almost every streamer this weekend playing it, so if you want to check it out before you buy, you will have opportunities, trust me. Anyway, that is it for me. Thanks so much, and I'll see y'all tomorrow for another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News.